Dennis Simpson here, Mr. Ike Eisenhower. And where are we, Ike?
We're at my favorite golf course, Cortez Golf Course.
Why is it your favorite?
It's close to where I live, and so I know this course like the back of my hand. A lot of times I'll get off work, and even if I don't have anybody to play with, I'll come out and play 9 holes by myself rather than hit balls at the range. So
I get it. If you've not been out here, this is the front 9. This is the back of the front 9 because we're coming up on 9 right here, and it goes out on 10. I remember coming here 20 years ago, and I remember, is it number 16 that looks out over the National Forest?
17.
17.
Beautiful.
Oh, my Lord. Looks out over the Flatside Wilderness area. I remember we interviewed Mr. Alt, and he said they cut down those trees, and they saw that view, and he said, yeah, we meant to do that.
Really?
Because they didn't know. Actually, I'll tell you one other thing about this golf course trivia real quick. On number 8 here, where it's a psych hole, because you hit it 155 yards. It's no big deal. But there's a lake in front of you you have to get over, and
it's all pond.
It's all a psych, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They bought a double wide barge and ready to ship it here, and they were going to fill that barge with dirt and float it and make the green float.
Oh.
And they were going to move it every so often, like every few days, so it would be playing a different hole. I don't know if you know, but the roads to the village are very difficult to get double wide barges here.
Probably so, yes. Mm-hmm.
So why are we rambling about golf? Because the fact of the matter is, this is what it's about. We can talk about insurance. We can talk about podcasts. We can talk about retirement. We can talk about investments. If you don't have time to enjoy your life and do what you want to do, why?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree 100%. It's we do what we do so that we can do what we want to do.
Brought to you by Jana Cook, Taylor Realty Group, 501-617-9747. Don't delay, call Jana. You by MForce Capital, Joanna Horton at MForce Capital, 501-922-9259. Your local professional in Hot Springs Village. And literally like your good neighbor, Ike Eisenhower, your State Farm agent. Your good neighbor is there, 501-984-4100. Well, and if you get confused about that, you find yourself trying to please the wrong master, please the time clock, please the bank account, please the whatever, If we have a minute, if you don't mind me sharing, one of my favorite stories is about the guy that went to the Bahamas. Have I shared this with you?
No.
Went to the Bahamas. Excuse me. He was a consultant. There was a guy that had a string, and he was just casting a string out in the ocean. And he said he got a fish, and he came back in. He said, okay, good for the day. And he said, what are you doing? He said, you need to go out and get another fish. He said, what for I do that, man? He said, so you can get another fish and you can sell one of those fish. He said, what for I do that, man? He said, because then you and your son could go out here and fish together. He said, what for I do that, man? He said, because then you could get a boat and you could go further and get bigger fish. And he said, what for I do that, man? He said, so someday you could get a fleet of boats and you could go out even further and get more fish. He said, what for I do that, man? He said, so you could relax and retire and not do anything. He said, I'm doing that now, man. Till you come along, I was happy,
Absolutely.
We get ourselves on our own treadmill sometimes, right?
Right.
And I what do you like to do in the village? Obviously playing 9 holes of golf. I think this is a great idea.
Yeah, that's my favorite pastime is golfing. All sorts of things. I mean, just went hiking on one of the trails a couple days ago with my wife, and we live on Lake Cortez, so we spend a lot of time out there in the lake or outside in the backyard doing stuff. And so, yeah, I mean, all sorts of fun things we do. See friends.
Diane and I love to travel. We just got back from Tunica. We spent a few days in Tunica, just a quick getaway and whatever. And we'll run to Dallas. Like you, and you travel a lot too. We'll go a lot of different places. Mm-hmm. But I'm never tired of coming home, looking out at the lake and seeing geese across the lake, right, or ducks, or the little bobbins that go down for like 30 seconds. And you have those?
Yes. And it's crazy how much time we spend traveling to get away from here. And when we come back, it's like, man, we need to spend more time here.
What were we doing? What were we thinking? Why were we going there? Right. No, I get it completely. It seems as if we get our agendas mixed up sometimes as to where we're going and why. And we end up, well, I think we get ourselves programmed. Well, we got to go on a vacation this year. You're on a vacation, man. You see where you're living. You see what you got, right?
Absolutely. So
The point I wanted to bring up was, I was asking you earlier about the kind of raising that you had, we would say, in the South. And to be fair, not a silver spoon, right?
No.
Yeah, and not a silver spoon here either.
I'm not crying poverty or anything, but yeah, we didn't have much. We family of seven, and
7.
We got by, and the joke that people say is like, I didn't know I was. Well, that's not even a joke. I mean, it's just a statement. It's like you didn't know how much we didn't have, when we were going through it.
Well, we didn't know we were poor because everybody around us was the same way.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like, and we weren't. There's a lot of people grew up poorer than we did, but for sure, I mean, we were middle class.
Yeah.
But anyway, we had a family of 7, so
7.
you had to make that in that salary. And my dad was a real estate appraiser, and so I mean, it's not like we were living in the lap of luxury.
Well, but no, that's an up and down business too.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you didn't get the set salary, or you didn't set amount of work or whatever every time.
Oh yeah. I mean, you could tell when we didn't. When he hadn't gotten a check in a while, and we were eating noodles with butter and pepper on them,
and beans.
It's like, you knew that we needed to get a check in the mailbox pretty soon.
The real estate commission needed to come on and through, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the reason I was bringing that up is that I think that's the story of Mr. Cooper. Mm-hmm. I think that's the story of me and you. Mm-hmm. We were not raised rich or wealthy or well-to-do. I'm grateful. I could not be more grateful than I can express. Mm-hmm. I never thought I'd live on a lake. You may not have thought the same thing. You didn't.
True.
We didn't know that we would. We didn't know that we would be successful, if that's what you want to call it. But back to that whole playing golf thing and doing what you want to do. Maybe people need to think more about what success really is.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's nothing more important than. Let me put it this way. The richest man in the world is the one who's happy with what he has, right?
I like that.
Yeah. And
like
so,
that a lot.
So, I mean, we all need to get to that level where we are happy with what we have and we enjoy what we have.
If I can, I don't want to be too personal here, but we were talking just a minute ago and you're noting that your wife's father passed away.
Yeah.
And it's the best of times and the worst of times. Diane and I were struggling very hard to actually purchase number 15 Torrey Del Mar we were talking about a minute ago. Mm-hmm. And we were like, man, going to bed every night, dear Lord, please let this work out. And her mother passed away. And that helped us give just a little bit of down payment from a $30,000 house. It was virtually nothing, but it was enough to help us get that and move to the next level. So it literally was the best of times and the worst of times. Now, y'all were on vacation when he passed away.
We were. We were having a trip of a lifetime with some friends, some South African friends that we have that live here in Hot Springs Village, and they wanted us to go back home with them and see South Africa. And we were in a town called George, South Africa.
George.
George, yeah. And Hermanus Bay, and celebrating her 60th birthday, and her father passed away. Over here, it was the same day as her birthday, but where we were, it was the next day because of the 7-hour time difference. So she actually got to enjoy her birthday, and we dealt with all the grief the next morning. And
the best of times, worst of times in the same day.
Yeah, absolutely. It was.
And I guess what the point there I'm making is, and it's not necessarily not a big point, but prosperity, success, it doesn't insulate you from the pains of life.
Oh no, everybody goes through something.
Yeah. One of the guys I used to listen to, Dr. Jim Rohn, was a motivational speaker, and he made note. He said, heartache is not reserved for the chosen few.
Right.
Everybody has pains. Everybody has struggles like that.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm balancing that in success. Success is managing that. Success is understanding that. Success is not being blown away when somebody passes away. It's going to happen to us all. We just didn't know what the day was,
mm-hmm.
right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. One of my favorite people in the world is Bob Dylan. And I read his book, and in there he's quoting his grandmother, but said, "Be nice to everybody, because everybody's got a hard road, and you never know what any person you speak to on a given day is going through at that given time, and so always be kind to people."
I think I've shared a little bit about the struggle that Diane's had with cancer, with breast cancer. I can hardly say the words because she's the healthiest person I know by any stretch. And then one of the doctors made note. He said, he did an interview, and one of his comments was that everybody I meet is having a bad day.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody I meet is having a bad day. And that's true.
Bless him.
So, you need to, just because you can tell they're having a bad day is one thing, but you don't know. You don't have any way of knowing.
True.
And really, Ike, for public-facing businesses like yours, there has to be a smile. You have to be considerate of people. You have to give them the extra grace. Some days people don't act like they need the extra grace, but they do need the extra grace. Is that fair?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Right. Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned Bob Dylan, which I thought was fascinating. We saw the biopic, which I thought was a very interesting snippet of time.
Yes.
And by the way, we're coming back through Memphis, and 1-800, what's it like to be unknown? A Rolling Stone without unknown without a Rolling Stone.
Complete unknown, yeah.
They had several billboards all the way down 61,
mm-hmm.
each one of them highlighting that he was coming to town. That's already happened when he was in Memphis.
Yes,
he was at the Orpheum. I think
he was at the Orpheum. Yeah.
So what's appealing to him about? I mean, the everyday guy, the what?
What I love about Bob Dylan is that he's a walking museum. He's Nobel Prize winner just for song lyrics. I mean, the only one that's ever accomplished it just on song lyrics. But you think of all the songs he's written. These days, I mean, basically, if you listen to what he's putting out today, it's all American history,
really
preserving American history, and the music itself is blues and folk and rock and all the things that are just American by nature, and the people he references in the songs and the movies it's just like a pop culture slash history. I mean, just a little bit of everything and everything he writes. And it's just like he's trying to keep American culture alive. And, for us to know that, Frank Sinatra was important, or Jimmy Reed, or, old artists and actors and everything. I love that about him. He's just whether he's doing songs from the 60s that he wrote back in that era of his life, or he did a radio show for years that was really cool, where he had songs from every genre, or he did the book that he wrote. It was just fantastic literature for a biography, an autobiography, which basically was 4 or 5 different snippets of his life, where he just
every chapter of his life. He had a Christian music period.
Mm-hmm.
He had a folk blues. The biopic that recently came out was all about the blues festival there, the jazz festival.
Yeah,
and he actually brought in a electrified device, and people thought they were going to lose their minds.
Yeah, the whole theme of the movie is kind of the theme of his life, but it is basically stop trying to define me. I'm going to do what I want to do. And so repeatedly, and even now, I saw him in Little Rock with my daughter last year.
Let me rephrase that. You saw Bob Dylan in Little Rock.
Yes,
I never thought he would ever come to Little Rock. But
the second time I've seen him in Little Rock.
Really?
But the first time was like 20 years ago. But anyway, so we got really good tickets where we could see him up close and everything, because it's Bob Dylan. It's my last chance to see him.
Why does he play smaller venues like this? I mean, he could pack out Dallas, but.
I don't know. He did Robinson Center, and that's a pretty good size for him these days, because he's constantly touring. He's got what they call a never-ending tour.
Yeah.
And so anyway, we saw him up close, and even so, he's still touring his last album, which came out 5 years ago.
Anyway, so he just tours the same album. It's the same album, but their music.
Yeah, it's still the Rough and Rowdy Ways tour, and he's touring the same songs, so the thing to know about Bob Dylan is, like, first of all, if you don't like Bob Dylan singing, I get it, right? but he's got this cool vibe to him that he sounds like an old blues singer now.
Yeah.
You know, it's not, if you go there expecting Blowing in the Wind, you're not gonna get that at all.
No.
You know, but it's completely different. My daughter, who's 30 years old, she was impressed. She said it seemed like we were sitting in some jazz or blues bar or something like that.
What were you, 5th or 6th row, or top 10 rows or something?
No, we were like second row, first row, but we were off to the side. They were
it's
first
Bob
row,
Dylan.
but
But
we were way off to the side. So,
yeah.
But anyway, but it was, but it just had this smoky bar kind of vibe to it. And anyway, but even the songs he did 5 years ago, he's playing the album, he completely changed them up.
Again.
And, yeah, I mean, not completely, but significantly changed up several of them. And that's just what he does. You know, he just does things the way he wants to do it.
I will say this. The movie cast on it, and I had heard this before, but there is a little contrarian in there. There's a little, well, we can't hear you well, Bob, so you really need to enunciate in the mic.
Yeah.
Well, that Diana will always joke about that, and we'll hear Bob Dylan. I'm like, she'll do your Bob Dylan impression.
So there's a famous story about him where he's in I don't think it's the Royal Albert Hall concert, but it was in England. But it was back in those days when he was going electric, and all the blues. All the folk
and jazz guys,
the folk fanatics, you know, who wanted him to be pure folk singer and everything.
Right.
They didn't like that at all. And plus, he's, you know, nobody complained about his voice when he was a folk singer, but everybody complained about his voice when he started singing rock and roll songs, you know, and that's where that all started. And so everybody's like, man, this is terrible. This is terrible. So anyway, somebody in the crowd yells out, Judas.
Oh, that's right.
And then he responds. In fact, they referenced
it in the movie.
Yeah, it didn't happen there, but they recreated it there.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't believe you. You're a liar. And then he turns around and he says to the band, and the band is like the band, you know, like the band that got known as the band, Robbie Robertson.
Oh, really?
That was his band back then.
Oh, yeah.
And so anyway, he just turns around and say, play effing loud. So they just like blasted it, just like they did in the movie. And so he just, like, if they didn't like his singing, he really was going to let him have it.
Well, he'd
sing extra loud.
The personality, you know.
Yeah.
I remember last time I saw him on network television was back. He had done he was in the Born Again stage, and it would have been in the 90s or something.
Mm-hmm.
And that he did the last song of an award show. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the mumbling was just off the charts. And they cut to the Channel 4 News, and Bob Clausen was there, and he was like, "What was that?" Which, if I think about it, that's what Bob would have liked.
Yeah.
He would have wanted you to say, "What?"
I remember he did the Grammys. They gave him a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Grammys once, and I was watching, and I think he had a little bit to drink backstage. Yeah. And everything. He gets up there. He's like, you know, my father used to say, and he just kind of faded out there. He's like, well, my father said a lot of things, and he just. But it's Bob Dylan. What do you do? He's like, what do you do? It's like, anyway, it's kind of funny.
Dennis and Ike reminiscing across Cortez. Listen, we wish the restaurant was open. We would have had a beer. We would have been probably funnier. But anyway, live your life. Seriously, get insurance. Be secure. Take care of your life. But don't focus on it. Don't obsess.
Go spend money on first row tickets to see Bob Dylan, because you're spending your kids' money anyway, right?
They're never going to see it anyway. Yeah. What was it Les Brown said? He said, if I thought I was going to die and I had a quarter, I'd swallow it. Different philosophy of life. Just joking. My point being, seriously, and we mean it very sincerely, don't focus on just work. Focus on your life. Be balanced. And I guarantee you, I don't know how to say this. In retrospect, you would not want to be 5,000 miles away when your parents die. But at the same time, they would want to make sure you were having great memories and doing a great thing.
Absolutely.
You know, he was happy she was being able to fulfill a world dream.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You know, the way it happened perfectly, to be honest with you. Even though we weren't there, because she was there with him nonstop going up to that. And, you know, other people got to share that experience with him too, including my daughter, who was there with him at the very last minute. So anyway, yeah, worked out perfectly.
Live your life. Dennis Simpson, Ike Eisenhower, we will. See you next time.
All right.
Don't delay. Call Janae. Janae Cook, Taylor Realty, 501-617-9747. Whether you're buying, selling, or just considering. Oh, we don't need a realtor yet. Yes, you do. Don't delay. Call Janae. 501-617-9747. Call 501-922-9259. Joanna Horton at MForce Capital. She can offer a complimentary financial evaluation planning session just for you and your needs. Once again, 501-922-9259. And literally like your good neighbor, Ike Eisenhower, your State Farm agent. Your good neighbor is there. 501-984-4100. The Home Plate Cafe and Bakery. Great home cooking and an amazing bakery located just outside the gates of Hot Springs Village. 501-984-6969 or go through the drive-thru. The Midnight Tavern, Hot Springs Village only late night place that stays open till 2 a.m. Great music, amazing drinks, and Chef Jana cooking for you every night. At 110 Colella Drive, Hot Springs Village, Arkansas, just across from the shelf. Call for information at 501-226-0078, 501-226-0078, or check them out on Facebook with all the latest entertainment. And by Domino's Pizzas West and upcoming East. That's right, Domino's Pizza will have an East location mid-2026. Great food, great service, and great 501-915-9595. 501-915-9595.
KVRE at 92.9 and streaming worldwide on iHeartRadio. KVRE is your family-owned local hometown radio station, so be sure and tune in for live local programming, news, sports, and information every day at 92.9. HSV Radio. HSV Radio is heard every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. or streaming on any of the major platforms. Hot Springs Village Radio is an eclectic mix of music, motivation, great music history, and Saturday morning fun. Join us every Saturday morning at 9 a.m., 92.9. Hot Springs Village only short-term rental with over 2,100 five-star reviews. All properties are lakefront. They include complimentary kayaks, hot tub, pet-friendly, and a stunning view of the lake. Visit D&D Village Prop today for your vacation getaway.